కడిగిన పాదము బ్రహ్మము తానని పాదము బ్రహ్మ కడిగిన పాదము.
Namaste, dear devotees and seekers of the truth. Today we delve into one of the most profound concepts of Sanātana Dharma, that is the sacred feet of Lord Śrī Venkateswara, also immortalized in the soul-stirring song of Annamacharya, that is Brahma Kadigina Padamu. Why we are the feet of Lord so venerated? You may be very anxious to know why the feet of Lord Śrī Venkateswara so venerated. What scriptural references support this devotion? Let us explore the Vedas, Puranas and Itihāsas and Bhakti literature that glorify the Chanaravinda, the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Venkateswara. The divine feet, that is Padamulu, of Lord Śrī Venkateswara are venerated not merely as anatomical aspects of the deity, but as a profound metaphysical symbols in the Vaishnava tradition, especially in the Sri Vaikanasa and Pancharatra Āgamas. The feet of the Lord are seen as the refuge of all beings, the origin of Dharma and the pathway to liberation, that is moksha. The Telugu devotional song Brahma Kadigina Padamu by Annamacharya captures the essence of this sacred symbolism. But here the question arises, are these ideas merely poetic? Are they rooted in spiritual foundations such as the Vedas, Puranas and Itihāsas? In this present discussion, we analyze how the divine feet are described across a wide range of sacred texts and devotional expressions, and how Annamacharya's song represents a beautiful culmination of these vast traditions. With this brief background of introduction, now let us look into the first Kirtana by Annamacharya, that is Brahma Kadigina Padamu. Brahma Kadigina Padamu, Brahmamudānani Padamu, చలగి వసుధ గొలిచిన నీ పాదము, బలితల మోపిన పాదము, తలక గగనము తన్నిన పాదము, బలరిపుగాచిన పాదము, కామిని పాపము గడిగిన పాదము, పాము తల నిడిన పాదము, ప్రేమపు శ్రీ సతి పిసికెడు పాదము, పామిడి తురగ పాదము, పరమయోగులకు పరిపరి విధముల పరమొసగడి నీ పాదము, తిరువెంకటగిరి తిరమని చూపిన పరమ పదము నీ పాదము, బ్రహ్మ కడిగిన పాదము, బ్రహ్మముదానే నీ పాదము. In essence, all these verses mentions that the feet that even Brahma worshipped, the feet themselves are Brahma. Your feet holds cosmic power, supporting earth, humbling the pride of Bali, touching the sky and subduing evil. Your feet cleanse the sins of karma, crush the hood of the serpent, delight Lakshmi and guide even horses. They are the supreme destination of your yogis, shines atop Tirumala Hills and represent the highest ultimate divine presence. All these songs praises the sacred feet of Lord Śrī Venkateswara, glorifying their cosmic significance and spiritual power. In essence, Annamacharya urges the devotees to mentally and spiritually wash the Lord's feet, which even Brahma, the Creator, has revered. The Kirtana implies that the Lord's feet are the final refuge and the path to liberation even for the gods. Now let us look into the Vedic references of Lord Venkateswara's feet. Rigveda, Purusha Sukta One of the sloka describes like this: Padyam bhumir disaha srotat. In translation, this sloka means from his feet the earth was born, from his ears the directions. In interpretation, the earth, that is the Bhumi herself, is said to emerge from the feet of the cosmic being or Purusha. This is Lord Śrī Vishnu in his universal form. His feet are thus the very foundation of the creation. Another sloka from Rigveda mentions like this: Padyosya Vishwabhutani Tripadasya Mrutam Divi. The meaning of this sloka is: all beings are but 1/4 of him, 3/4 of him lie immortal in the heavens. In interpretation, this sloka mentions like this: the feet of the cosmic being, that is Purusha, are described as the foundation of the material world, especially the earth, that is Bhumi, and the quarter, that is Diksha. In Vedic cosmology, the feet are symbolic of grounding, direction, and support of all existence. Another sloka from Yajurveda, that is Taittreya Aranyaka, a sloka mentions like this: Yetena padoyantra bhumirbhava jata yetatadyat. In interpretation, this sloka means like this: here jnana, that is knowledge, and moksha, that is liberation, are achieved by contemplating and worshipping the divine feet of the Supreme. Now let us look into the references available from the Puranas. The Varaha Purana describes Lord feet as a moksha dayaka, that is granting liberation. One of the sloka from Varaha Purana mentions like this: Padambujam yad bhaktanam mokshadayakam bhavat. The meaning of this sloka is: the lotus feet of the Lord grant salvation to his devotees, bestowing peace and release from the cycle of rebirth. The Padma Purana also glorifies the divine feet as the pathway to liberation. One of the sloka mentions like this: Yasya padam pravishta sada bhava bandhana muchyate. The meaning of this sloka is: those who enter the refuge of his feet are forever freedom from the bondage of worldly existence. Now we will refer about Lord Sri Venkateswara's sacred feet, which are available from Agamic temple traditions, that is Pancharatra Āgama and Vaikānasa Āgama. Let first discuss about Pancharatra Āgama. One of the sloka from Pancharatra Āgama mentions like this: Pādayoha snānam krutya pādhyam samarpayet. In translation, the sloka mentions like this: having bathed the feet, one must offer padya, that is ritual water, or the feet. In explanation, we can interpret the sloka like this: in the Pancharatra Āgama, particularly in the Ishvara Samhita, the act of offering water to the feet, that is padya, is not merely ceremonial. It is a sacred purification and invocation. The feet of the deity are regarded as the foundation of the divine form, that is Sarira Adhara. Spiritually, they symbolize humility, surrender, that is śaraṇāgati, and the pathway to liberation, that is moksha marga. The Pancharatra Āgama directs the padya be offered before all other upacharas, that is offerings, implying that true worship begins with the complete surrender. At Tirumala, during daily Suprabhata Seva, Tomala Seva, and Abhishekam, priests begin their upacharas with the feet, in precise accordance with the Pancharatra Agamic rule. Vaikānasa Āgama also mentions about Lord Sri Venkateswara's feet. One of the sloka from Vaikānasa Āgama mentions like this: Ādyam pādayoha arhyam tadyat dharmadhikaranaha. In translation, the foremost offering, that is arghya, must be placed at the feet. In interpretation, the sloka mentions like this. In Tirumala Śrī Venkateswara temple, the archana karma, that is a sequence of worship, prioritized arghya at the feet. Arghya is water infused with sandal, tulasi and sacred materials, denoting reverence, welcome and sanctity. Offering arghya to the feet signifies a devotee's welcome into the divine presence. Beginning from the lowest and the most sacred point, the feet aligns with the core Vaishnava idea that the feet of the Lord are the source of grace, as evidenced in the stories of Ahalya, Bharata and Gajendra. In both the Āgamas, the feet are treated not as a peripheral but as a primary centers of divine contact, from which grace glows downward and outward to bless the devotees and the world. Now let us look into the symbolism of Lord's feet in Vaishnavism. First one is Śaraṇāgati, that is lotus feet. The feet are described as a lotus-like, soft, fragrant and radiant. The second one is Moksha Dwara, that is door to liberation. Surrendering at the feet of Vishnu is the gateway to moksha, according to all major Āgamas and Itihāsas. Padaseva, service at the feet, is the highest bhakti, even beyond knowledge or austerity. Fourth one is footprint worship at Tirumala. The Śrī Pāda-Yugalam at the top of the Tirumala Hills is a shrine devoted to Lord footprints, indicating the sanctity and divine favor of his feet. Now let us look into the bhakti movement by Āḻvārs. What Āḻvārs mentions in their verses about Lord Śrī Venkateswara or Vishnu's feet. Nammalvar in one of his verses praises the Lord Vishnu's feet like this. Udayai aru vinayan unadu adike sodayan. The meaning of this sloka is, O Lord, I burden with countless sins, surrender solely at your feet. In interpretation, Nammalvar sloka mentions like this: his profound realization of the soul's entanglement in the worldly sins, and acknowledges that true liberation and peace are attainable only through complete surrender at the Lord's feet. This verse encapsulates the essence of prapatti, that is surrender, highlighting the Lord's feet as the ultimate refuge for the soul. Periyar in one of his sloka mentions like this: Udayai aruvinayan unadu adeke sodayan. In translation, the sloka mentions like this: I praise the Supreme One's feet. I meditate upon those divine feet. In interpretation of this sloka, Periyalvar emphasizes the significance of the Lord's feet as the focal point of devotion and meditation. By praising and contemplating the divine feet, devotees are reminded of the Lord's grace and protection, reinforcing the path of surrender as the means to attain spiritual fulfillment. Another sloka from Andal mentions like this: Unnanodu uravel namakku ingu volakka vilayantu. It means our relationship with you cannot be served here or elsewhere. In interpretation of this sloka, it says that this verse beautifully conveys the devotee's steadfast love or surrender, declaring that no worldly force can erase the bond with the divine feet of the Lord. Collectively, these verses from the Āḻvārs highlights the centrality of the surrendering to the Lord's feet in the Sri Vaishnava tradition, portraying it as the definitive path to divine grace and liberation. Now let us look into the devotional traditions and pilgrimage of Tirumala temple. At Tirumala, the Śrī Pāda-Yugalam, that is the divine feet, are partially visible during Abhishekam. Thousands throng to see the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Venkateswara. Devotees believe that even a glance of the feet removes the sins. In one of the sloka from the Upanishads, views like this: Tat padam vipravujjate. That means that sacred food is praised by the knower of truth. The modern reflections of this interpretation is the Śrī Pāda-Yugalam, that is Puja on Narayanagiri. Pilgrims climb 3,550 steps to reach the Lord's feet is another symbolic ritual of revering his feet from the hilltop. The Lord's śaraṇaṁ is considered the ultimate purifying drink. We have discussed at length about the references available from Puranas, Vedas, Itihāsas and also Āḻvārs verses. Now, before concluding, let us summarize the discussions which you have made so far. Brahma Kadigina Padamu as a divine declaration. Let us remind ourselves the verse from Bhagavatam. Samsara Sindhu Taranaya Samasritanam Padma Vibhoho Pranamachi Cha Santaye Syat. The meaning of this sloka is: the lotus feet of the Lord help one cross the ocean of samsara and brings peace to those who bow their heads in surrender. In translation, this verse highlights the sanctity and power of surrendering the feet of Lord Sri Venkateswara. The term Samsara Sindhu represents the vast, unending ocean of material existence filled with suffering, illusion, and bondage. The Lord's feet act as a divine boat, ensuring safe passage for those who take refuge to them. The meaning of Padma Vibho is the Lord's feet are compared to the lotus, symbolizing purity and detachment from material contamination. The word Pranamurdhi means those who bow down in full surrender at his feet experience inner peace, that is Shanti and liberation. This idea resonated with the Bhagavad Gītā 18.66 sloka, where Krishna assures moksha, that is liberation, to those who surrender to him. The sloka reads like this: Sarva dharmas parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. The line Brahma Kadigina Padamu is not just a poetic lyric, it is a spiritual truth drawn from the Vedas, Itihāsas, Āgamas and Āḻvārs verses and the tears of the saints. Among all the saints and seers, Sri Annamacharya immortalized this truth through his soul-stirring kirtanas. His composition of Brahma Kadigina Padamu means the feet even Brahma adores, is a poetic declaration of what even scriptures imply, that the supreme refuge lies at the Lord's feet. Though this one line, Annamacharya reveals the profound truth that even the creator Brahma begins his journey from the feet of Lord Vishnu, born the navel and surrendered at his feet. For Annamacharya, the Padabhivandanam, that is worship of feet, is not metaphorical. It is the heart of bhakti. In his view, Sri Venkateswara's feet are the beginning and culmination of all devotion, the flame of divine mercy that lights the way for the soul. So the feet of the Lord are the foundation of the universe, that is Vedas, the shelter of the gods, that is Puranas, the key to liberation, that bhakti traditions. To bow at the feet is to return to the source of all existence. In this age of Kali, where confusion and surrendering abound, may we find our anchor to the feet of Sri Venkateswara, surrender to them in faith, serve them with devotion, and receive the eternal gift of moksha they promise. May we always serve, remember, and surrender to the sacred feet of Sri Venkateswara for they are true destination of every soul. Let us end with a prayer. Om Namo Narayana Śaraṇāgati Namaha. I hope you have enjoyed this piece of discussion. If you like it, please forward it to your friends, students, children, family members, and also group people to know more about the mythology and sacred mudras of Lord Sri Venkateswara, and also the rich cultural heritage of India. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hope we will meet you in another discussion. This discussion is also translated and presented in Telugu language.
బ్రహ్మముతానని పాదము బ్రహ్మ కడిగిన పాదము బ్రహ్మముతానని పాదము బ్రహ్మ కడిగిన పాదము బ్రహ్మముతానని పాదము బ్రహ్మ కడిగిన పాదము. చలగి వసుధ కొలిచిన నీ పాదము చలగి వసుధ కొలిచిన నీ పాదము బలితలమోపిన పాదము చలగి వసుధ కొలిచిన నీ పాదము బలితలమోపిన పాదము తలక గగ